Kentucky, this is Mary Jo Perino. Tonight, the governor gets pushback on his upcoming mandate to wear masks in public. Lexington's mayor talks about cutbacks to avoid fiscal ruin. And see part 2 of my interview with UK's Vince Marrow. All that and more is next on Hey Kentucky. Welcome to Hey Kentucky with LEX 18 Sports Director Keith Farmer. And Keith, real quick at the top, we got to get into a little something that's kind of breaking news today. As Daniel Cameron, the Attorney General, has joined a lawsuit of a Northern Kentucky woman calling Governor Beshear's travel ban unconstitutional. He's also asking for the governor to allow in-person church services now.
Yeah, I mean, a little surprising to think, especially in the church services. The travel ban, I don't know, I guess that's kind of one of those things. If you come back in, who's going to know if you self-quarantine or not? But as far as the churches and getting such a large group together right now, I'm still not sure that's a great idea, at this time.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't feel like it is, but it's also your choice to go. So if you don't feel comfortable, don't go. All right. This has not been well received, by the way. Governor Beshear announced plans to begin easing restrictions and allowing Kentucky businesses to reopen over the next month. That's good. But as part of that, people will need to wear masks when out in public. Starting May 11th, the governor says that every week thereafter for 4 weeks, restrictions will gradually be eased and some industries will be brought back online. It's a plan that will be similar to the White House's Phase 1. Every business will need a social distancing plan.
Work can't be the same when we go back. We have to be further spread out. There has to be social distancing, and as many people possible who can telework have to be able to telework. And so while it's going to seem strange and it's probably uncomfortable, I want us to know that this is just another small sacrifice that we can take to make sure that we keep each other safe.
The governor says people won't be cited for refusing to wear a mask, but a business can refuse to serve those people, and businesses who don't provide masks to their employees could have to temporarily shut down. Beshear's directive about masks has drawn a lot of fire on social media. Keith, I'm surprised. This is like the most outrage I've seen for something Beshear has done.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've got a mask that somebody made for me, and I forget to take it out sometimes. Sometimes I just don't do it because it's uncomfortable. It's getting warmer outside. At the same time, if this is what we're being asked to do, maybe it's something we should be doing to protect those around us. It's not protecting me as much as it is somebody else. So, it's worth thinking about and making sure that we do. And I know one thing. He did mention you can do anything up to like a sock. I'm not putting a sock on my face.
But you're exactly right. It's to protect other people. And he's not asking you to do it in your home or if you go out for a walk. It's just when you're in a business and around other people. So small business owners who didn't get a cut of the first round of federal loans are hoping to take advantage of the latest coronavirus relief bill. Nearly 24,000 loans were approved here in Kentucky for the first time around, worth $4.2 billion. But none of that money went to a Lexington police detective who recently opened up a business of his own. Mark Thomas and his wife are owners of the Bourbon Creek store in Fayette Mall. They're wondering why they weren't given the same support as some other businesses in the Bluegrass.
We have people right here in the Commonwealth that are millionaires that have taken this money to keep their horses warm in their barns. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't follow the letter of the law, because they did. But unfortunately, they absolutely missed their mark completely for people like us.
Other Kentucky business owners say insurance companies aren't helping either, routinely denying claims to compensate for loss of income during this unprecedented business-destroying tsunami, saying it simply isn't covered. And Keith, this is like, who has pandemic insurance for their small business? Like absolutely no one. So I feel like there should be some flexibility there. And I hope that Camille and Mark get something the second time around, and other business owners, because that's not fair.
You know what's, and this is from Camille and Mark. I bought this recently, and it's frustrating to me that those loans didn't start on the bottom and work their way up, because we've heard so many stories about, like, the Los Angeles Lakers were giving back $4.6 million. Ruth's Chris is giving back $2 million because they were given that small business loan. That makes no sense to me as to why these other small businesses weren't helped out.
Yeah, small business is not the Los Angeles Lakers.
Not at all.
That's for sure. All right, Lexington Mayor Linda Gordon unveiled her budget for the next fiscal year today. We knew the city had a $9 million shortage for this year and about $40 million for 2021. The mayor's plan shows a projected 10% decrease in general revenue and no tax increase. Gordon says there will be no layoffs of permanent employees, but no new positions will be funded. And there are more than $12 million in cuts across city government.
The cut to external agencies that concerns me the most is the suspension of our extended social resources grants that support many important social services agencies. Some of these agencies will receive some federal funding to cover their COVID-19 related expenses, but I know our cuts will hurt.
Meanwhile, Kentucky Congressman John Yarmuth says he's optimistic that the U.S. House can come up with a bailout package for cities soon, although he's not sure how it would fare in the Senate, Keith, especially since Mitch McConnell is talking about bankruptcy. But a lot of these cuts are going to be in the arts, are going to be in social programs. It is going to sting next year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we saw this coming. We talked about it way back when, a month ago when we were first starting to talk about some of the problems that we could foresee within cities. The one thing that worried me the most was, maybe losing policemen or firefighters, which it sounds like right now that they're not going to be pointing towards. So that's good news, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think, and no layoffs of permanent employees, which is also great news. All right, Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell recently took some heat for his comments that the federal government should not offer bailouts to states during the COVID-19 crisis if those states were already in bad shape beforehand. Since then, some have called McConnell's stance hypocritical, pointing out that his home state of Kentucky takes in more federal money than it sends to Washington. A report from the D.C. think tank, the Rockefeller Institute of Government, shows that the Bluegrass state received $148 billion more during the fiscal year that ended September of 2018, the most recent year on record. Meanwhile, New Jersey got over $71 billion less than it sent, and New York got over $116 billion less. Keith, looks like Governor Cuomo of New York was right on with his numbers in that.
Yeah, it kind of makes you, oh, wait, we're from Kentucky. Yeah, this is bad, because it does sound like, they need more, especially as hard hit as New York has been in all of this. And, again, they're not getting back as much as they put into the pot. And so it does make you feel a little bad on that.
Yes, I also believe, though, that Kentucky, if it was already hurting so bad, then we might need even more help instead of just filing for bankruptcy. But that's just me. Turning to sports, the NCAA is apparently moving toward a change that would have a huge impact on student athletes at Kentucky and schools across the country. This week, the Board of Governors is set to recommend rule changes that will allow Division I athletes to earn money from endorsements and sponsorship deals as early as next year, including pacts with all kinds of companies and third parties, from car dealerships to concert promoters to pizza shops. Players would also be allowed to sign autographs for money, sell their memorabilia, and be paid for appearances and work as instructors in their sport. The recommendations are expected to form the foundation for legislation the NCAA hopes to pass next January, so it can take effect in 2021. And Keith, there's definitely going to need to be some guidelines here, but I'm so glad the NCAA is at least open to making some of these moves.
Yeah, especially with being able to benefit off their likeness and being able to go out and just, if you're one of the players, then you should be able to make a little bit of money off your appearance. And the only thing that concerns me a little bit is the one about, and I get it, being able to make money off your autograph, but I'm worried how that's going to turn out when younger kids are asking for an autograph after a game and that type of thing. So that one kind of worries me a little.
Yeah, and even their appearances, right? So would there be a fee charged for you to go interview them?
Ooh, oh, I hope not. No.
All right, up next on Hey Kentucky, my conversation with the big dog continues. UK football assistant Vince Marrow talks about Landon Young's pro prospects and the importance of sports in our culture right now. Stay with us.